Yo, what's good, YouTube? ZAMCRO here, aka Scoot, back with the CPC, and we have our Season 8 draft analysis. If you guys have followed our channel or the CPC, you know we have came from, I believe, Season 2 or 3 of the D-League into Season 5, into Season 6 of the main league, and played out that season in Season 7, where we had lots of fun with two really awesome squads, and now back for Season 8 with another awesome squad consisting of Landorus Therian, Mega Charizard X, Superior, Tentacruel, Sylveon, Stakataka, Oricorio, Fortress, Miltank, Alakazam, Pangoro, and the Electrode. So a full 12-man roster. We don't normally have a 12-man rosters. We normally prefer to go with less than 11 or less, to be honest. But yeah, we had some leftover points, so I decided to grab Electrode there at the end. And yeah, pretty cool squad. We have Z Landorus Therian and Z Oricorio, as you can see on screen. We have access to all forms of Oricorio as well, including regular, as you can see on screen, with the addition of Pom Pom, Pau, and Sensei. So if you don't know, Oricorio gets 4 forms, all being secondary typing flying, with the primary typing being either fire, electric, psychic, or ghost. So yeah, pretty cool squad. Landorus Therian as a Z-move user is very, very threatening. Supersonic Sky Strike, Tectonic Rage, Continental Crush, things like that. Swords Dance, Rock Polish, Double Dance even, Stealth Rocks, Defog, Earthquake Spam, Choice Scarf user, gets knockoff, gets some cool techs, some pretty cool coverage as well, gets things like Smackdown and Gravity for things like Rotom Wash, Skarmory, Celesteela, so on and so forth. So pretty cool mon overall, one of the best in the format in my opinion, and I was glad to pick it up despite wanting to use Tapu Koko. I figured Sticks for the 3rd season in a row would not pick it, but he did have the most token points and was thus able to grab Tapu Koko first round. So we had second pick and picked up Landorus Therian. Had to wait for the whole league to pick their first mons and their second mons on the wheel before I got to pick again. And yeah, after that, pretty much everything was gone. Mega Charizard X was still around, so I decided to grab it. It's a huge threat. And with Landorus Therian, they pair well together. Landorus being a good ground immunity, Charizard being able to, the combination of the two being able to eventually break the bulky waters that would otherwise cause them issues. These two Pokemon are going to be a fantastic duo in terms of offense, and of course both can be used defensively, so that's pretty cool. You got the Will-O-Wisp Roost set with Charizard and the Intimidate with Landorus Therian, so being able to pivot between the two, try to be creative with my sets and things like that. Can have lots of fun with the two being my first 2 pick. And being second pick, so on my second pick, my 3rd pick was almost immediately after my second pick, and we were able to pick up Superior, which gives us another ground resist, where Landorus is an immunity. Superior can be a nice resist, and yeah, Superior pretty much only walled by fat steel types or potentially other grass types, both of which Landorus and Charizard deal really, really well with. So I felt these 3 were an awesome trio to start off my draft with. Had to wait quite a bit before I would pick again, but I felt, Superior was really nice. It gives me another defog option. So now I have 3 defog users. Of course, Charizard primarily won't be used as a defogger, but Superior, on the other hand, could be used as a defogger, a defensive grass type, or they're really solid, can switch into water types. Bulky water types are primarily the water types that are the go-to in the draft format, so Surf being able to switch in on those and then easily remove hazards if need be. Also has the ability Contrary, so Leaf Storm, instead of lowering my special attack, will actually give me a special attack boost, in which makes Superior a fantastic sweeper. Choice Scarf, or without Choice Scarf, since it does have a very nice speed tier in itself, with access to Dragon Pulse and a hidden power of choice. This thing is hardly walled by anything, with sets like Sub, Leech Seed, and be very annoying for my opponents. Also gets synthesis, and also gets things like Giga Drain, and gets glare, and I think it gets knockoff as well. So pretty cool mon overall. Looking forward to using it for sure. I'm using it in the UBC right now as well, so definitely getting my hand in the superior there. Trying to figure out the do's and don'ts of the mon. Anyways, next up we have Tentacruel. So Charizard and Tentacruel both being weak to ground, it's fantastic to be surrounded by things like Landorus, Therian, and Superior. Very, very fantastic for me. Tentacruel gives me a nice poison resist, as well as a bug resist, as well as a fairy resist, as well as a water and steel resist. This is a fantastic Pokemon. Gets access to rapid spin, so I have a 4th mon here with hazard removal. So Charizard really needs that hazard removal, and having my first 4 picks be able to remove hazards is fantastic. Of course, Tentacruel typing wise matches up well against most stealth rockers, as water is usually super effective versus ground types, rock types, and potentially having something like ice for dragon types, ice beam, or something like that could be really nice. So Tentacruel's really solid mon. Also gets the ability Clear Body and Liquid Ooze, so 2 really cool abilities, and I think Rain Dish as well. So going to be a super fun mon to use. Haven't used it in quite a while, maybe since Oris, but it's back on the squad now. Definitely looking forward to using it here in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon before Gen 8 comes out, which is going to be hype. Anyways, next up we've got Sylveon. So we needed a fairy type. This also gives us wish pass capabilities into things like Landorus, Charizard, Superior. All of my squad appreciate having a wish passed into it. Sylveon does have a high base HP at base 95. It's not incredibly high, but it's above average, and has fantastic special defense and special attack, and gets the ability Pixelate, so things like Hyper Voice are turned into fairy type moves, which is very, very powerful. This is a baton passer as well, so I can get momentum that way. My opponent has guaranteed switch ins. I can baton pass as an opponent brings in a steel type or a fire type and go into my Charizard or something like that and take advantage of that. This thing also gets things like Magic Coat, dual screens. Like I mentioned, the Wish is really nice for this bad boy. It gets the psychic coverage for poison types, but that's about it. Not too many techs on this bad boy. But it's here to do one thing, and that's to be a really, really solid fairy, dragon check, and cleric. That's what it's here for. Next up, we've got Stack Attacka, which is a Ultra Beast. The ability Beast Boost is fantastic. Has insane defense at base 211 and base 101 special defense. So a special defense isn't low by any means. It's just dwarfed by its defense, and has really, really usable attack at base 131, comparable to things like Excadrill and Mammal Swine, to put it into perspective. Rock and Steel is really cool coverage, really cool dual typing there, of course, weak to Earthquake and Fighting type like no other. But yeah, this thing can set up Stealth Rocks, it can set up a Trick Room, it's got dual screens as well, and Magic Coat as well. Like I mentioned, Trick Room and like Stone Edge, Gyro Ball, things like that. Unresisted coverage with things like Earthquake and Smackdown, Stomp and Tantrum, things like that. Even Magnet Rise. This mon can be a huge threat, especially under Trick Room with access to Beast Boost. I was going to make it a Z-Move user, but I felt like Landorus Therian had to be my Z-Move user, and then my other one had to be 9 points or less, so ended up picking Oricorio. Speaking of Oricorio, that is our next mon. Talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the video. This thing has 4 forms, so it has the Fire Flying form, it has the Psychic Flying form, Electric Flying form, and Ghost Flying form. All have the same base stats and all have the same ability, Dancer. So if you didn't know, Dancer actually copies dance moves. So if my opponent was to use a Swords Dance in front of me, I would get a +2 attack. If my opponent was to use a Dragon Dance in front of me, I would be +1 speed, +1 attack. If I were to be Quiver Danced in front of, or if my opponent Quiver Dances as I switch in Oricorio, then I will get the dancing boost, so I would have +1 special attack, speed, and special defense. So yeah, Dancer's a really, really cool move. I've seen it used in the past. I've actually used it in the past in terms of actually getting the dancer's boost and, you know, getting a semi-reverse sweep and things like that. Last season in the CPC, I was able to get a Orikorio Pa'u sweep versus Rice Pool, where it 6-0'd him, and I was able to, versus another opponent, I believe maybe Andrew, I was able to use Orikorio to pass a couple Calm Minds into Mega Sceptile, in which Mega Sceptile was able to get a 6-0 sweep. So yeah, Orikorio is a very fantastic Pokemon. It gets access to Swords Dance, Agility, Calm Mind, Baton Pass, Defog, Roost, Revelation Dance, which is a normal type move that transforms into my primary typing. So it can be Fire, Electric, Psychic, or Ghost. Very, very fantastic. It has a very nice speed tier and very, very usable special attack at base 98. In the Pom-Pom form, it can be looked at as a cheap knockoff Zapdos, and its other three forms don't really have. Maybe like a cheap Lugia as Pa'u, but that's a bit of a stretch considering Lugia's abilities. Anyways, next up we've got Fortress, some more hazard removal again in Rapid Spin. Orikorio being a defogger, now another Rapid Spinner in Fortress. Only weakness being Fire, and my team deals with Fire types really well so far in terms of Landorus pressuring them with Earthquake, Charizard being 4 times resistant, Tentacruel being a Water type, and then we had Stakataka as an offensive Rock type, as well as Orikorio's normal form being a Fire type. Fire types shouldn't be too big of an issue for Fortress. If my opponents are to run Hidden Power Fire, they cannot run Hidden Power Ice for Landorus, which is nice for me. Again, this thing sets up Toxic Spikes and Spikes, as well as Stealth Rocks, and gets rid of them with Rapid Spin, which is really nice for me. It gets access to Volt Switch, which can bring in momentum with things like Charizard and Landorus, and it gets Gyro Ball and Earthquake, so it gets decent coverage, and a couple of great abilities in things like Sturdy, which I can always survive one hit, and then Overcoat, where, you know, powder moves don't affect me, and Sandstorm damage doesn't, you know, affect me in hail and things like that. So yeah, very, very nice pick there in my opinion. I was really happy to pick it up. And then next up we've got Miltank, as you can see on screen. Miltank being a fat normal type, was thinking about Leaky Leaky, but it got picked up, and wanted some more Wish support, but of course it didn't fall through. Sometimes it doesn't, and I thought Miltank was a really solid backup. It gives me another Stealth Rocker, and while it doesn't get Wish, it still gets Milk Drink. It can take care of itself. It can be a setup sweeper with things like Swords Dance, Curse, Power Up Punch, Seismic Toss. Can catch my opponents off guard with an offensive set. It is pretty fast with base 100 speed. It does get Heal Bell, gets pretty good coverage with the elemental punches, and Return, Iron Tail, Iron Head too, I believe. I think it's Iron Head. Don't quote me on that though. And of course I can use this thing like with Whirlpool, like a Whirlpool tech, and trap things. Next up we have regular Alakazam, so not rocking the Mega, but still got our boy Alakazam on here. Got the Magic Guard ability, can avoid hazard damage and, you know, status damage and things like that, any kind of residual damage. Really solid speed tier at base 120, really strong special attack, of course. Solid revenge killer with things like Life Orb items, Focus Sash items, are really, really useful and can be hid and disguised really well in the format. So yeah, looking forward to Alakazam. Of course, being as powerful as it is with the coverage it has, it's, you know, one of those Pokemon that's almost unwallable, and it gets some pretty cool techs like Taunt, Thunder Wave, Recover, Barrier, Miracle Eye, so on and so forth. Very, very cool Pokemon, and yeah, very excited to use regular Alakazam for once. Our last two picks are Pangoro and Electrode, so I haven't used these two Pokemon as much as I've used the rest of them, but Pangoro's a fighting dark type, so not weak to Psychic. It has 3 really great abilities in Iron Fist, Mold Breaker, and Scrappy. Can run a variety of items, movesets, has fantastic coverage, lots of different setup options. It even gets Foul Play and Knockoff, which is really, really nice utility. It's not really fast, but it does have base 124 attack, so it's pretty powerful. And with base 95 HP, it can be kind of like a bulky breaker with things like Bulk Up and the coverage that it gets. It can be really, really solid. So hopefully it can put in the work. It is a cool looking panda, very, very intimidating. Next up we've got Electrode, which is a fast Pokemon. So this gives me all the speed I need in terms of if I need speed, this is my go-to. One of the fastest Pokemon in the game, speed ties with Mega Aerodactyl and Mega Alakazam. Faster than Mega Sceptile, faster than Mega Beedrill, things like that. It's just so fantastic. Unfortunately, it only has base 80 special attack. Fortunately, I am afforded to run Modest a lot if I want to use this thing offensively. But more than likely, this is kind of a lead Pokemon for like screens, maybe Magic Coat something back, use it for foul play and explosion, maybe discharge spam, or just want to Thunder Wave some things. It just depends on the situation and the matchup. But yeah, Electro is really a nice value for 3 points as one of the fastest Pokemon in the game, and it has, like I mentioned, a variety of utility, and I thought it was a steal, so I went ahead and picked that bad boy up. No shame here, but yeah, it's going to be the squad. Not too much else to say. Looking forward to using all of these Pokemon. Hopefully it can work out. We've got a different, not too huge of a change in the team lineup in terms of coaches for the CPC this season. Of course, we've got Styx and Rise pullback. We have Volume back. I wasn't sure if he was going to return. Evan has returned as well. Carson, he didn't play last season, but he's returned from previous seasons. Bacon Chest is returned to coach his St. Kilda Superiors. We've got, I believe, Andrew's back. Psychedelic Scizor and Blitz is back, so that's really fantastic. And we've got Hoyne. Am I saying that right? I'm still not sure if I'm saying that right, but again, he's playing with us in the IDM, and he has looks like he's joined the CPC as well, as he's drafted a pretty cool squad, and looking forward to playing him. We actually be playing him in week 1, so look out for that. But that's going to be it. So till then, let me know what you guys think about the draft. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.